Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin,
I'm Craig.
and we don't have that other guy with us this week, but Craig and I did see the newest Mission Impossible, which is called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It has been delayed due to the pandemic and whatnot. And Craig, I was reading the Wikipedia page, and it says that this is the first one not to involve J.J. Abrams in any capacity since Mission Impossible 2, which is a good thing.
I was about to say that can't be a bad thing.
That's
They
a
weren't done in a
very
bad
good
way.
thing. I don't like seeing his name anywhere. It has a budget of 291 million so far, or not so far, and it has grossed 235 million so far since its opening weekend. Looks pretty good, but the movie, for one, I liked it, but I liked Fallout more than this one. What
Yeah,
say you?
I kind of agree with that too. I actually haven't seen many Mission Impossibles. I've seen bits and pieces from I think Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and I think I've seen most of Fallout. And this the only one I think I've seen
You haven't seen the
in one
entirety
sitting.
of Fallout? What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tom Cruise makes such good movies. I'm sorry.
I've seen all of them but the second and third one. Because I'm sure I told you in the theater, the guy who plays Kittredge, he
Yeah.
was in the first movie. Obviously, he looked a lot different. Tom Cruise barely ages. That guy had like brown hair in the first movie. Now he has all white hair.
Because
But
I guess
yeah, you
also
go,
the
you
only thing
go.
that confused me because I haven't seen all of them is who's Gabriel?
He's a new guy.
Oh,
I
he's
I,
new.
I think the 1989 flashback was made for the movie. I don't remember too much about the other movies if he was referenced in the second or third one. I don't know if he was even referenced in the first one. I don't remember.
Because that's the only thing that had me confused. Because they seemed like he was a character for an old movie, and I was like, well, I guess I just didn't see that movie, but apparently not.
Yeah, because it says he was a friend and ally of Ethan prior to him becoming a part of the IMF. So yeah, he's a new guy.
That is surprising.
I mean, I guess one thing. Let's talk about what these sequels do now is that they always bring back a new villain from the past, which is what this movie does. And I'm so tired of that by now. It is so annoying. We had
But yeah,
Fast and Furious do it. I'm sure there's other movies that have done it recently that I just can't remember. But it's just so tiresome. I'd rather have somebody that's not connected to Ethan, that has no past to him. He's just a guy who wants to do evil things. That's what Fallout did. There wasn't any relation to anyone before. Like Henry Cavill wasn't didn't have anything with anybody before the events of the movie.
but wasn't it a sequel to the previous one? Because they had that guy again.
What guy?
I don't know his name, but he looked like the Archetypes or something.
He was what?
No, the weird creepy guy at the end of the movie, Fallout.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was in. So he was introduced in the fifth one, and then he was in Fallout. So that's fine, because at least he was introduced for the first time in a movie. It wasn't like, oh, there's this guy that was never seen before who had a history with this guy, and he just shows up and is doing evil things. That's so tiresome.
Also, too, again, like with the people coming out of the past, and these franchises have been running for like almost 20, 30 years. It's like,
Now, why they choose now?
yeah, like this guy, Tom Cruise has been running around saving the world countless times, and like, oh, now he's coming out of the woodworks to get revenge.
He does do a fair amount of running in this movie.
Well, that's Tom Cruise's signature thing, right? The running.
Felt like a lot more than usual. I feel like at this point that he knows it's a joke, or at least the filmmakers know it's a joke, so they have it anyway. There's no reason for him to them to show it as long as they did of him running on top of that Abu Dhabi airport or Dubai airport. He's got good running form though. The arms were pumping.
Unlike the previous superhero.
Oof, yeah. Should have taken lessons from Tom Cruise.
Well,
So
Tom Cruise was an athlete, right? I mean,
yeah, I think he played like high school football when he was younger.
And
Not,
clearly, also he runs. I mean,
yeah, he's in great shape for his age. I mean, I know we fawned about him or fawned over him when we talked about Top Gun Maverick, but yeah, Tom Cruise. I guess before we talk about the positives and negatives of the film, he has a good track record so far. Yeah, he has that one blemish of The Mummy, which was just a disaster from the start. Like that was just a bad idea. But besides that, he's had a pretty good track record with the Mission Impossibles. They all been pretty good from the fourth movie, which is Ghost Protocol, up until now. I have not seen the third one, which is J.J. Abrams' one. I refuse to watch that. Maybe if we do a review of all the Mission Impossibles, then I'll finally watch it. But I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I mean,
watch
you
it
have
under
to.
my I'm not gonna watch it in my free time. I don't like that man. But he's on a good track record. This movie's been pretty critically acclaimed. I think on the Tomatoes of Rotten has a 96%. Yeah, 96% out of 341 reviews as of now, which is just nuts. And then Top Gun Maverick, I think, had like a 96%. And then Mission Impossible Fallout had like a 97. He knows how to make crowd pleasing, good action movies. And I know we're kind of repeating what we said about Top Gun Maverick, but that's what I like about Tom Cruise. He's not one of those idiots that want to put their own personal input and their own personal thoughts on the world in their movies. He just wants to please the fans because he knows the fans are the people who will show up and support your film.
Well, actually, like he wants to make entertain. Like it's not there to preach or anything. It just he wants like he knows he wants to make. He's a part of like, the last few like people in Hollywood that actually want to entertain people and not like just like make movies to like satisfy some weird revenge of people who were shooting them down as like giving awful ideas in production meetings. Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. He's
Like I said,
probably the. Oh, you go. You continue. You continue. I'm sorry.
like you know what you're getting from like you know like how some actors if they were in a movie you like oh that, I want to see a movie it's got this actor or this director to like because right now like there really aren't any like big name directors or actors anymore. It's just more of the brand name. Like you want to see a Marvel movie, you don't want to see a
Well,
Tom Cruise
well,
movie.
Craig, may I mind you that there is a guy named Chris Nolan who has a dedicated fan base,
True, but he's like one of the last few people.
and Tarantino. His
Well, I
movie,
thought he was retiring soon.
I think he's doing one more movie because he
Yeah,
considers Kill Bill 1 and 2 one movie.
but you get the point. Like, there's not many like those people anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's the
really just
brand.
about yeah, the brand, the company.
Careful, Simu Liu might come after you. The guy who played Shang Chi.
Go ahead, try to come after me. What is this incel subreddit?
So it's Tom Cruise. It's you want to see a Tom Cruise film. It's not so much you want to see a Mission Impossible film. It has Tom Cruise on the name on it. And you're like, you know what? That movie's probably going to be good. It's probably going to be action packed. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be dark and miserable. I'm going to enjoy it. And like I said, I did enjoy it. It's just I thought Mission Impossible Fallout was a lot better, but that's because like that movie just set such a high bar. I mean, you could make an argument that that movie was like one of the greatest action movies of all time.
Yeah, it was like especially like that
You didn't
the
even see the
bathroom
whole
fight
thing. What do
scene.
you know?
I've seen most of it. I
Oh
saw the
yeah.
action scenes. No, I told you I did see. I've seen most of it. I don't think I just haven't had it like seen it all in one sitting. Like I've probably watched like all of it at once, or all of it at not at one sitting.
All right, I'll let it slide. So let's talk about what you think are the negatives of the film, Craig. What didn't you like about it, if any?
Nothing really. It's just more of at the same time. Well, it is good. At the same time, I feel like these movies are kind of becoming like the same.
Yeah,
Which I mean,
it's a formula.
yeah. Which again, not necessarily a bad thing because it's still done well, but at the same time, it's like Tom Cruise is going to go rogue and take out this device that's going to destroy the world.
Yeah, why do they even have the IMF if he just blatantly disregards every rule?
Yeah, and goes, he's always going rogue.
He should just form his own agency, honestly, and answer to nobody.
Yeah, just collect like crypto money and then just run off and do his own thing.
Yeah, that was funny. That made me chuckle when they were talking about like, oh, we have all this cryptocurrency that we're gonna give this person, and I guess that's the big thing now in movies. Instead of giving lots of money or having lots of money, you sell stocks of cryptocurrency.
Well, I guess because I guess with the movie, I guess with the AI, like I guess the target bank accounts, but whatever. I'm pretty sure you could get your crypto wallet too, but doesn't matter.
I think one thing I did not like about the film was I thought it was too long. I think the action scenes overstayed their welcome just a little bit, which may
I,
seem like an odd complaint, but I was just like, geez, when is this going to be over, this action scene?
that's what I kind of felt with like the Rome chase scene.
Yeah, I felt like that went on a little too long. It
Because like the
wasn't,
joke
yeah, you
kind
go,
of
you
ran its
go.
course too. Like she couldn't drive, and they were like in the wrong handcuff and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a smidge too long. As we were talking about the Rome sequence, it wasn't as bad and annoying as the fifth Indiana Jones movie in that beginning with the train scene. That just went on for forever. It didn't reach that level, but I
Oh,
just
what you mean? It just felt like at the end you're almost like, because like even like with the train sequence to the Orient Express, where they stop the train, then the train's like falling into the
oh
water.
yeah, that was a little much.
It just kept going. I mean, it was cool and all, but you felt like you just like shortened it a bit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this movie's 163 minutes long, and it feels its length. It feels very long, and I don't know. I just feel like they could have easily cut down some parts here or there. They could have easily maybe cut off at least 10 minutes by just shaving down scenes here or there. At least the action scenes. They could have cut down at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, just so it doesn't like drag on forever.
Yes. I think also. I mean, do you want to get into the positives now? Maybe we kind of been talking about the positives, but I think despite its length, I was never bored in the movie, which is a big positive. I didn't look at my phone to check the run, like to check how long the movie's been going on for.
I mean, it definitely felt long, but at the same time, I never felt like you said, bored either. Like I knew I could feel its length because you felt like some scenes dragged, but it didn't feel like like over 2.5 hours. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big problem is that they're just making movies too big now. I mean, granted, originally this is supposed to be part one of two of the last installments of Mission Impossible. Now I'm seeing that there might be more. Like I looked it up. Now there might be even more after this. So
I mean, is it more Tom Cruise or are they just gonna like do
no,
spin-offs?
Tom Cruise said it says on Wikipedia during promotion for part one, Cruise expressed interest in continuing to make further films in the series as Hunt.
I don't know. I mean, it's good, but like it's approaching the problem like where he's in his late 50s now, right? Or is he 60?
He's 63. No, he's
Oh,
61. He's 61. My bad. He is
yeah,
61.
it's like at some point like you just can't do this anymore.
I agree. I think they should, depending how the second one ends after this, he should definitely hang it up. Regardless, for these the Mission Impossible, he could do his other things, but as being a super spy agent, I think that the second one should be the last.
I think so. You also probably would want to send it off on a high note. Don't like keep bringing it back and
Yeah, you don't want it to end embarrassingly like Indiana Jones.
well, I feel like some people just can't let things go. Like because I feel like this was only like more of a recent problem where people just can't ever seem to let things go. Like some franchises have to go on forever and ever and ever. Like you can just have like maybe a trilogy like Back to the Future and just end it right there. Like, oh, those are three good movies, and then like, you know,
Oh boy, do they want? Didn't what's his face? Zemeckis say like, "Over my dead body," are you going to reboot Back to the Future?
yeah, exactly. Like, I'll never give up the rights to it to get rebooted.
Good for him. Good for him. I'm trying to think of other positives. Uh, okay, do you just want to talk about the MacGuffin, the main thing they're trying to get after in this film?
Yeah, we can talk about that because that's. I mean, I guess the whole thing too. Like, an AI became sentient and it's now like taking over the world or infiltrating everything.
Yes. So the movie starts off with it was a submarine, and these people in the submarine thought they were under attack, and because they see this rival submarine on the radar, and then it just disappears. Whoosh, it's gone. And that's the what's the thing called again? The machine?
The entity?
Yeah, the entity was like making it look like to appear there so they could attack themselves because they launched a torpedo. The one thing I don't understand is, and we talked about this, it's implied, at least I thought it was implied, that the entity where it actually is, where you need the two pieces of the keys to come together and you can open it up, it's in that submarine that was in the beginning, right?
That's what I remember. I was confused about because I don't understand why they would have to go to that spot specifically.
Yeah, why would it? Okay, so let's assume it's not on the submarine. Why, if it was on the submarine, why would it attack itself to sink itself? Is that just so it could be unreachable?
Maybe. That's like the one thing I didn't understand why they had to get to that spot specifically.
Because the submarine was just minding its own business in the beginning until it makes it look like it's on that radar, then they attack themselves. But couldn't it have risked destroying itself when the torpedo hit?
Okay, so I'm looking at the Wikipedia now, and they're saying that it has an earlier version of the entity on it,
Oh, okay.
and with this earlier version, you can control it or destroy it.
So it is on. Yeah. So why they say earlier version then? Is there where's the other one? Is that irrelevant?
I guess it's, I don't know, somewhere causing havoc.
Okay.
Because I mean, also they said the way to destroy too is you have to upload, like, I think they said an earlier version of the source code, which I don't think
Oh,
really
that's
makes
when
any sense.
Luther. That's when he leaves the movie. He literally just leaves. He just disappears.
Yeah, you need to go like offline or something. It's like, yeah, all right. I mean, good luck. Good luck trying to find your errors on Stack Overflow.
I think also like the gadgets in these movies are just getting a little ridiculous. Where
Oh, like the
they're like
mask
super
thing.
hackers. No, the masks are okay. They're fine. Okay, one thing I actually thought about this. One thing that was so annoying is that in all the previous movies, whenever someone does a mask, their eye colors are the actor's eye colors. Like if okay, so let's say Tom Cruise wants to put the mask like a mask on of the White Widow in earlier movies. It would just be the actress and her eye color would stay the same. When what's her face? When Grace put on the mask to appear as the White Widow, her eye colors were different. And I was thinking like, okay, are they gonna notice that her eye colors are different? And that's when the jig is up? And that never happened.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I guess yeah, what was the point of that?
Yeah, because I thought like, oh no, that's how they're gonna get caught. Even though in the other movies this was never an issue where the eye colors were different.
And you can't even say too like it was a mistake because it's you have to do that as deliberate. So I don't know why
Yeah,
they would
the
do that.
whatever her name is from Hobbs and Shaw, Vanessa Kirby, she has blue eyes, and then all of a sudden they're brown. So they clearly changed it. I don't know, Craig. I don't get it. I thought that was gonna be like, oh no, that's how they're gonna catch her. And then even the guy, what's his name again? Kittridge. He's even looking at her, talking to her, and I'm thinking like, oh, she's gonna get caught, and it never happened.
But you would have thought like her bodyguard would have noticed, right?
Yeah, her brother. That's her brother, I
Oh, that was her
think.
brother.
I think so, because he was in the last one too. Yeah, yeah, he is.
I mean, I feel like I would. I mean, I don't know. I'm not best at recognizing eye color, but I think even I would have noticed like someone's eye color changing, something drastic.
Yeah, it was like light blue to brown. It wasn't like it was blue to green, you know. It was like
Or like, different shades, like maybe like a gray to a blue.
yeah, it was like one end of the eye color spectrum to the other.
So even I noticed that's like pretty bad.
I think another thing also that was annoying is that they have because Ethan goes rogue, he has those CIA guys who are just constantly after him. Because it's like the same in every movie. He, like you said, he goes rogue. Somebody's always after him. I mean, I
I mean, at
guess
least
not
they kind of
now.
wised up and were helping him.
Yeah. There's the guy from Kong Skull Island where he tries to sacrifice himself, and then the lizard thing hits him with its tail, and he blows up in a mountain.
I think that like I guess for me that's always I'm gonna remember him by because it was so stupid. Not that it's his fault, but it's like such a horrible scene.
Yeah, he he was trying to have a heroic sacrifice just for nothing.
He was also in the Joker. I don't know if you've seen that.
I saw that. I saw that in theaters.
Oh, he survived. Okay.
Palm Clementif is in this movie too. She is Mantis in the MCU.
Yes, and they wisely did not have her speak a word because it would not make sense for her, I guess, with her accent to be pretending to be French.
She is French.
Oh, she really?
Yeah,
Oh, then why they have she has like such an accent
I think
in
she's
the
doing an
Marvel
accent
movies.
for the Guardians, Craig.
Oh, I thought that
I
was
think she's
actually her
actually
accent.
no, she's actually French.
I look no, she's Canadian, Colin, big difference.
But on Wikipedia it says she's a French actress.
From Quebec, but she's Canadian.
All right, whatever.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's talk about Simon Pegg. He felt a little sidelined in this movie. He
Yeah,
had
I get
more of
like
a
a scene
role
in
in
the
the past
beginning.
couple ones. Yeah, he had the role in the beginning where there's that bomb that's supposed to be like a nuclear thing. I thought he was gonna die in the beginning.
I mean, I was thinking that, but at the same time, it's like if it was really a nuclear bomb, like, well,
Well, I
everyone's
thought it wasn't gonna be a
dead.
nuke. I thought it was just gonna be like a bomb. I thought he was gonna die in the beginning. I was like, oh no, not Simon Pegg.
No, but instead the other one dies, Ilsa.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a shocker because
Uh,
Gabriel. I mean, we'll talk about Gabriel in a little bit, but he kept on. Well, you thought she was gonna die too.
I mean, just the way she died, like I'm almost not sure if she really is dead because it felt so like a whimper, right? Like it just she just got stabbed and died.
Yeah, I mean, these characters do ridiculous things in these movies, so she might come back, but I don't. I think she's gone. I think she's donezo.
I mean, you're probably right. It was just such a like it's such a whimper. All the crazy things these people do, and like all the stuff they survived. Like, oh, she just got stabbed in the chest. Oh, she's dead.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't feel
know.
exciting.
I know. Gabriel was trying to make Tom Cruise choose. Like, oh, he gets on like mumbling, like, oh, who do you want to save? This person or this person? And I think what was annoying with Grace is that like up until Elsa dies, she was just trying to like screw over Tom Cruise, even though he's only trying to help her. It's like maybe the
Yeah,
first time I get it, and then she kept on doing it. I'm like, why is she just being so mean?
not even me. Like it's stupid. Like no self-preservation. Because again, I feel like okay, the first time, even the second time when he was pretending to be her lawyer,
Yeah,
but by then when like when armored trucks are trying to kill you, I
and
feel
he
like all right,
saves
well,
her.
yeah, it's like all right, maybe like leaving him stranded on the railroad track. It's like or the underground track or
Yeah, he could
whatever.
have got killed. She could have killed him.
Yeah, then she would have gotten killed. Like at some point, it's like you gotta realize like
He
he's
could have
risking his
killed you
life.
if he wanted to, and he's saving you on purpose.
Yeah,
Why are you being a dummy?
and
Yeah, I
at least
thought.
she finally learned her lesson. But it's like all right, a little too late.
Yeah, Elsa had to die for her to learn her lesson. Do you want to talk about the big baddie,
Gabriel.
Gabriel? Yeah, he's
Oh,
okay, I guess. Oh, would you what to say?
oh, like I said in the beginning, I actually thought he was from another movie. And I was like, oh man, I guess I should have seen that one.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I'm gonna just confidently say that.
Again, I thought he was fine. I mean, he's no Henry Cavill, but
Yeah, he's no Henry Cavill reloading his arms.
and the stash that screwed over DC.
The stash that cost DC like 20 million. Yeah, I thought it. I mean, as we said, it's a part one, so we have to see how his character plays out in part two. But as of now, he's okay. Like, I like how he just taunts everybody. It's kind of funny. He's just being a jerk.
I just wondered, too, like, what is? I mean, I guess maybe we'll see in the second one, but like, what's in it for him to serve this AI?
Yeah, what's his end game?
Because the guy, forever, I think he's working for the AI, but like for everyone else, it's to control it. Or I think uh I
Who?
forget her name.
Oh,
The
the
one
White
that,
Widow.
yeah, at least for her, it was like, well, I'm kind of being threatened or something. I'll get killed. Like, what's this guy's deal? Like, it doesn't even get any family.
Yeah, what does he want with it?
He just wants to watch the world burn, apparently.
Okay, so maybe I dozed off in this one scene in the train. We find out that not only is Kittredge there, but the other guy,
Yeah, the guy from The Princess Bride.
Ellinger, yeah, the director of national intelligence, is there too. Why would he just like openly? He says like I'm the only person that knows where this thing is. Then why would he tell Gabriel that? That's his leverage.
Well, yeah, I guess he was saying that in hoping he wouldn't get killed, but that's because he's working for the AI. So well,
Yeah,
I
he
thought,
knows where it is.
yeah, like I wouldn't tell it to Gabriel. You'd say like, "Oh, me and a select few people know." Okay, that's like the wrong thing to say to him.
Yeah. And I guess it's kind of a little bit creative where the AI can predict every possible outcome. So it creates these situations. So I'm willing to give that a pass. Unlike other movies where the villain can just they try to make him he's so smart and you can't see my hands. I'm doing art, like air quotes here. He's so smart where he can predict every single move that the heroes make. That's lame, but at least in this it makes sense.
Well, yeah, it's a computer doing as opposed to some guy like with his, board of madness, all of the pins and the string pointing every single outcome.
Yeah, like I keep on thinking of Fast X because that's everything you should not do with the movie. But I kept on
Here we
thinking where
go.
yeah, here we go. What's his name again? Dante. I kept on thinking about how he was able to anticipate every single thing, even when things didn't go, even though it looked like it didn't go according to plan. It really went according to plan. That's so lame. It's so lazy. I kind of think of the Dark Knight too, where when the Joker gets himself captured, it's like so many things had to fall into place. It had to go so perfectly right for everything to happen that he could anticipate who does where and who goes where. I don't know.
True, but at least I feel like that was at least done better.
Yeah, well, I'm comparing it to Fast and Furious. The latter is
That's
almost
true.
always better in comparison. But yeah, I thought that was neat, where he was able, the AI could anticipate things. It made sense.
I mean, it was like it was anticipating stuff too. Like it was using leverage over people, like saying if we push them threatening with this, they'll probably break. Then we can get them to do what we want. So it wasn't like it was that out of the realm of like unrealistic too. I mean, the only thing that I thought was kind of dumb was the guy on his watch had a countdown, knowing when to jump off the train into a truck.
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
That was the only time I was like, okay, that's kind of dumb.
Well, I guess he must have timed that out beforehand, knowing when you break or when you destroy the brake for the train, so it could go as fast as it can. You can't slow it down. I guess he calculated how fast it will go at a consistent speed to get to that truck at that time. I don't know.
Also, assuming you'd be on top of the train,
Yeah, something assuming
fighting
something
Tom
horrible didn't
Cruise.
go wrong.
And not even like on top of the train in that exact spot, because say you were like, 10 feet back, like you'd splat
Yeah, like he had, I guess, to perfectly time out how long he would fight Tom Cruise for.
and be in that exact
Because what
spot
if
on
Tom
the
Cruise
train.
just held him a little bit longer and those FBI agents were delayed a little bit longer? He had that knife to his neck and he was holding him down.
Oh yeah, he would have been dead. He would have missed the truck.
Yeah, I forgot about that because I remember I was laughing in the theater. I was like, "What?"
Because it wasn't like too, he had like a field of mattresses where like, if he was off by a little bit, he could still land on a mattress. It was like the perfect
It's
spot.
like a truck hiding underneath an underpass and he just jumped off.
Yeah, like just got inside the truck.
Yeah, that
That's
was.
really the only thing though.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that until you just mentioned it.
Well, like I said, everyone gets one, right? That was like their one little too crazy prediction.
Yeah, fair enough. So I don't remember if you, or I don't know if you remember this, Craig. But one guy in the theater, when we're walking out, he was like saying, "Oh, it ends just like that stupid Fast Furious movie," and I and I couldn't help but think he was wrong because it is a part one, but it doesn't end on the cliffhanger. It's like he got the first part of his mission done. That's what this is essentially. That's what this movie is essentially. spends the whole movie trying to get two parts of a key together so then they could go to the entity and then stop it. That's the whole movie. It's part one of part two. It's not like Fast X where it ends on a literal cliffhanger
Yeah, driving off a dam.
and then he blows up the whole dam and it's gonna engulf them in debris and water. Then the movie ends. Like that's completely different. Like it actually had a definitive beginning and end. So I don't know what that guy was talking about. That guy must have been crazy.
He probably was. I mean, again, like I don't really like cliffhangers or part ones and part twos that much, but I mean, I guess for an ending, this wasn't the worst.
Yes, I agree. It,
'Cause I'd rather just watch like a 4 hour movie than like have to wait another year. Most movies really aren't worth it. They're
but
just like usually they stretch out the material for,
well, now it might get delayed even longer. It's supposed to come out June 28th next year, but I don't know if they're finished filming everything yet.
wait, they haven't filmed it yet?
I don't know if they finished filming it. I think there might be still filming it.
Wait,
Yep, filming
I
was
thought they filmed it
suspended in
back to
July.
back.
It's been suspended,
Oh my God.
so it'll get delayed.
Well, I'll take that back then.
So I'm curious what's going to happen. Well, I guess now Tom Cruise kind of spoiled it. I guess so many people want in these franchises in their last installment, they always want the hero to die. And I know Tom Cruise would probably never do that unless it made sense. He's not going to kill his character off just to kill him off because it's the last movie. I don't think he would ever do that. That's just stupid.
I do think it's dumb just to kill off the hero just because, well, we have no other stories from. Like, people can like just go off into the sunset and like retire. Like, is that not an option for people anymore? Like, it just feels so weird. Like, again, that's the only thought people have. Like, you have to kill him. You have to kill him. Otherwise, he stays alive and becomes like a bitter old man whose whole family gets killed off in some tragic accident, and his wife divorces him.
I'd be curious to know what movie you're talking about, Craig.
Well, so many of these movies now, like like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, they don't get killed off, so they become like miserable
Well,
old
I
men.
guess the most common the common denominator there is one company's doing those movies.
Well, true, but I don't know. Like, well, even like James Bond, like they just couldn't let him like retire. They had to kill him off. Like for what reason?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that movie, but it's not so much them killing him off that was annoying. It was how he dies
Well,
and
yeah.
the
I
villain
just
too.
I just think it's always like a lazy way to end a movie, like because like it's not really because I guess people can't write happy endings anymore. Like, oh, he retired, he settled down. It's like, God, no, sorry, that's boring. Let him like get shot to death and die.
Let's have him get obliterated.
It just feels weird because like I feel like movies back then were okay with like letting the hero ride off into the sunset and kind of get a happy ending, or at the very least like not get killed. And not even for sequel bait because there weren't that many sequels back then. It was just that's how the story ended, and he lived the rest of his life.
You're making too much sense over there.
Well, 'cause, like Back to the Future at the end of the trilogy, Marty doesn't get killed some tragic time travel accident. He just, he goes back and lives his life.
It'd be kind of funny if Doc died in the end of the third one, so all his efforts of trying to save him in the third one are just null and void.
Well, that's what they would do today, but people were writing movies better back then.
Yeah, I agree. So, in addition to movies killing off the main hero and disrespecting them, this movie falls under the trap of being too long, as we talked about earlier. And I've noticed that every big budgeted movie now is nearly 3 hours, or at least 2.5. I don't mind a movie's runtime usually. It's just that it feels like all the bad movies are over 2 hours now. Not saying this is bad. But like
Like I feel like there's like an
every Marvel
extreme
movie
where
is like over 2 hours. Every blockbuster is like 130, 140 minutes.
well, I just feel like there's like an extreme where it's like you gotta be over like 2.5 hours, or you're really short, like or your boy, forget his name.
Who?
I heard you got Godzilla vs Kong.
Oh, Adam Wingard.
Yeah,
But he's a weirdo.
yeah. It's like you can't just be like the little like 2 hours, like 2 hours 10 minutes, or 2 hours, like the sweet spot.
This realistically, the sweet spot to be like 100 minutes to like 130. I think is fine. That's acceptable. But like this movie and Indiana Jones, which was 9 minutes shorter than this movie, it's just they're getting too long, and it feels like they're padding stuff out for the sake of it, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I definitely see, especially with like Indiana Jones. That's an easy one to kick while it's down. I also wonder too if like if they're so long because and not that this movie applies to this movie, but like other movies, like they're always reshooting stuff. So I guess they're trying to think like what's the way to get a good ending, and not really trying to fix the pacing all that much.
That definitely could be an issue. Be careful though. James Mangold might call us out and say that there was no reshoots. You better watch it.
I'll believe I forget the John Williams more than him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so when you get your rough cut assembly of the film, I feel like they should sit down and then they should see, all right, maybe this scene drags, maybe this scene drags. Either cut them down or just reshoot a scene that can convey that information in a much cleaner and more streamlined. Not saying that not specifically pointing my finger at this movie, but I feel like that can apply to a lot of movies where they're all over the place, and then if you just get rid of a couple scenes and then reshoot that, and then just streamline the information, it would be a lot shorter. I mean, a movie like, let's say, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, they could have easily cut out. Do you remember that movie had like fetch quests? Where
Yeah.
it's like they got to get to this, and then they got to get to this, and they got to get to this. Streamline that, reshoot that, have them do one thing instead of like four.
But I bring up the reshooting too because they spend so much time like reshooting the ending that I guess they don't even think about stuff like that. Like how's the beginning of the movie start? Oh, who cares? We have to make sure the ending people don't hate it and want to walk out of the theater.
That should be something that they figure out from the start.
Yeah, but these people aren't talented, and because I've seen people talk about like I get it. I don't think it really applies to this movie, but like these other like Marvel Disney productions, how basically everything's all green screen, so you can basically do whatever you want within the editing room.
That is very true. They have the liberty. You know, in Thor Ragnarok, specifically the scene with Odin, that was supposed to take place in New York.
Yeah.
And then they changed it last second to Norway, which makes much more sense in Norway.
I mean, I agree that was a better when people complain about like reshoots and rechanges, that's actually one of the better ideas. But like I know that seemed like when Hela caught the Mjolnir, I know that was supposed to
That
be
was
in
in
New
New
York.
York because
Yeah, and they had to
it was in the
reshoot it.
trailer.
Yeah, because they said like movies back then too, like you couldn't really go and reshoot everything or like change everything in post production. Like whatever you shot on film, you were kind of stuck with it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
you could do like some stuff, like you really couldn't like reshoot the whole third act of the
there's
movie.
definitely much more thought put out into what they were going to film. It was a lot more meticulous, and I guess since Marvel has steamrolled the industry, they're like, okay, I don't know how much you're aware of this, but they don't finalize any of their designs, Marvel, so they can change anything literally last second. They normally do. The
Yeah.
costume design in Endgame, when the time travel outfits, those weren't real. Those were all CGI. They didn't know what that was going to look like when they filmed it. So everyone wore their normal suits and they just put orange dots on it to CGI it out.
Yeah, because well, you can tell like when they're wearing it too, like the fake helmets, the fake suits.
Well, yeah,
It
besides
always
that.
looks off.
But movies back then, like let's say the 80s and even the 70s, they couldn't afford to go back and shoot stuff because like you're saying, not only is it shot on film, but if you're doing effects, like blue screen effects, That's like a chemical process you do on the actual film. It's very time consuming. You just can't like, oh, let's go reshoot it, or let's change the background. Like once you put that chemical process, you do that process to key out the background. You can't undo it.
See, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking of the fact that, like, I know once you shoot something, it's like, well, that's it. Like that's our take. Like we're not gonna go back and then drag everyone back. Your point stands. It makes even more sense.
Yeah, it's just a giant mess. Marvel's terrible. But let's quickly talk about Christopher McQuarrie, who is the director and screenwriter. And I have come to respect this man. He has a pretty respectable filmography, especially with Tom Cruise. He wrote The Usual Suspects, which has a pervert in it, but have you seen that movie?
Nope.
I think he got
Mainly because who
nominated.
directed it?
Oh yeah, it was directed by a pervert too. Brian Singer. Uh, I think it was nominated for an Academy Award. He wrote Edge of Tomorrow, which is that movie with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. He directed Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. He may or may not have had a writing credit on The Mummy. May or may not.
I
He
mean,
did.
I'll cut him some slack on that one because that was all I can tell studio interference.
Yeah. Mission Impossible Fallout, he wrote and directed. He co-wrote Top Gun Maverick, and then he has these other two Mission Impossibles: Dead Reckoning Part One, Part Two. He had uncredited writing work on the first X-Men, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, World War Z, Rogue One. Wow, that's shocking.
Well, again, another movie that was reshot so many times. You never know what made it in.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that I trust this guy and his filmmaking ability. So if I see his name on it, I'm gonna be like, you know what? This movie's probably gonna be not so smartly written, but it's gonna be well written enough. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be action packed, and I like him. He's done some great work, especially with Tom Cruise.
Although I do wonder, is it because is he working with Tom Cruise or is he actually a decent writer?
I mean, he didn't work with Tom Cruise on The Usual Suspects, and that was pretty well written.
True, I have not seen that.
Have you ever
Hey,
seen the end of Scary Movie? The very
no.
first one? Oh, okay. Well, that movie makes fun of the ending of The Usual Suspects.
I always heard it was good, but I once I find out who directed it, it's like, eh.
Ooh. But I'm definitely excited to see where things go for part two. It's not going to feel like an obligation to see how things end,
Like
like
I think
some
Fast
movies.
11 or 12.
Yeah, that feels like an obligation. I mean, actually, I take that back. For the new Fast and Furious movie, I just want to see it to see how much more crazy things can get.
Wait,
They
we want
can't.
to see it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, they can't possibly get any more crazier than it is now.
I'm expecting aliens at some point, like because they're gonna keep going until like in their 70s. I'm expecting aliens or something.
Do you want to have any predictions possibly for Dead Reckoning Part Two? What do you
Um,
think? What could happen? Who do you think bites the bullet? You think Luther passes away because he's like Tom Cruise's closest friend in the movie?
maybe. Also because like he's clearly the oldest looking guy. No
Yeah.
offense to the actor, but
Ving Rhames. Yeah, he's 64 right now.
it's like he does a lot of like stunts too. He's just sitting behind the computer, so
Him or
you know.
Simon Pegg, obviously. I think Grace will probably make it out somehow. I'm going to say Ving Rhames. I think Luther is going to bite the bullet.
Or maybe Benji, but it's not like it matters.
Yeah.
We come for the cruise.
Yeah. He's obviously going to make it out all right. Maybe he'll do something again, like you have to make a choice. Who do you want to save? Maybe that's what Gabriel will do. I hope Tom Cruise kills him in like some horrific way.
I don't know. I don't have because again, it's not like I don't think it'll be like I can't have a prediction because it's not like like a Marvel or a Star Wars movie where you can predict like trash and it'll probably happen.
That's
Like
true.
besides like the obvious, he'll win and there'll be good stunts and you know, which is obvious. I don't really have any like fake predictions.
Oh, which reminds me too. Speaking of stunts, as everyone knows, everyone talked about. The stunt where he drives off a cliff. That is insane that that man would do that. The only CGI they used in that scene was he
Yeah, for
was
the
he was on a wooden ramp, and they
yeah.
replaced that with the rock. But still, he this crazy man was on a motorcycle and drove off of it with a parachute. Guy's crazy.
I mean, I still think the craziest thing was like climbing was the Burj Khalifa or like hanging onto the side of an airplane.
Yeah, but this
I mean,
one,
maybe this
no,
was
Craig, no,
worse.
you're wrong. You're wrong because at least on those ones he has like safety harnesses on him that they just remove. Like when he's hanging on the airplane, he has like straps from his waist attached to the plane. This man is
But does he
driving
still have to hold
off.
on to it though?
Well, yeah, he still has to hold on to it, but he probably is like secure enough where he could. I don't know, but this one's much worse, where there's so much more that could go wrong. What if his parachute doesn't deploy? He's
okay,
a
I
dead
get what you're
man.
saying, but I just feel like if I were to see someone hanging off the side of an airplane, I think that'd be more impressive.
Bottom line, Tom Cruise is a crazy stunt guy. He's a crazy man who does these things.
All to entertain us, and we love him for
Yes. Bless you, Tom Cruise. God bless
it.
you. He's the last action hero Hollywood has left. Harrison Ford definitely is it. Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
because
is
like
running circles around him.
yeah, 'cause, like no one really does that. I mean, who's like the other one left? But maybe Keanu Reeves.
But he doesn't even have as much as likable and nice as Keanu Reeves has. He doesn't have that box office draw that Tom Cruise has always had.
True, but I'm saying like at least like the action star.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because like who else? I can't. I mean, I don't watch too many movies, but I can't really think of anyone else outside of like him, Keanu Reeves.
Definitely not any of the Marvel people.
Definitely not Dom Toretto.
You take that back. Well, I speak for myself and probably Craig too that we're excited to see what part two is and where it goes. But overall, I think this is a pretty solid movie. Like I said, I obviously Fallout is better than this one, but I don't know if I'd put the other ones over it. Maybe Ghost Protocol. I thought that one was pretty solid. If I were to rank them so far, this would be Colin's ranking. Probably be Fallout, maybe Ghost Protocol, then this one, then maybe Rogue Nation, and then the first one. Probably be my ranking right now. What say you?
It's only my second one. So I guess I'd probably put Fallout than this one.
Respectable, respectable. Well, do you have any other final closing thoughts?
Tom Cruise trying to save us from a summer of horrible movies.
I know I heard this
Except maybe
movie.
Oppenheimer, but
Oh God, this movie underperformed. I heard a little bit at the box office, but it's not a Flash or Indiana Jones level disaster. So at least it has that going for it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, those two, it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, those are. It is just a disaster. All right, well, I think that's all, Craig. We have been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin,
I'm Craig.
and we will run around like Tom Cruise and see you next time.